All right, good afternoon. I'll give you the information I have on the injury report heading into this week here, at least as we know it today. So Ed Oliver, we are hopeful. We'll see where that goes this week. Matt Milano, he's week to week. He tweaked that pec in the game yesterday, so he'll be week to week. TJ Sanders, not ruling him out. We'll see where it goes. Going to take it one day at a time here, so we're still working through it. Dorian Williams improving. He's day to day, and we'll see how things go over the next couple of days with him. Connor McGovern hurt his hand during the game yesterday, last night, and we'll be hopeful that he can go this week. Dorian Strong, as you guys know, placed on injury reserve. This past Saturday, he's going to see a specialist. And then at this point, no decisions have been made on the guys that are currently on IR to open their window at this point. So we'll go from there. I think that should cover most of it, if not all of it. So if you have questions, happy to answer them.
With Matt, just clarifying, when you say tweaked, it was the same injury that he was dealing with before?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
With Dorian seeing the specialist, is there a fear that it is potentially, I know when you hear neck, it's potentially very serious, season-ending? Do you have any other insight into that?
Yeah, I don't know much other than I don't think anything at this point can be ruled out at this point. So we'll see where it goes.
Sean, there was just a replay from the broadcast angle with Josh coming up limping a little bit yesterday. Is there anything injury front with him?
No, I just sore overall. I mean, as you saw, he took some shots there, and he plays extremely hard, but just sore overall at this point.
Similarly with Dalton Kincaid, looked like something with a hand there at some point. Anything on him?
Yeah, he's sore as well. Dealing with just some overall body soreness right now, and we'll see where that goes here.
You mentioned last night that in the second half in particular, just the disappointment in stopping some of those passes by May. I mean, after watching the video, how did you feel that your secondary handled those situations? I know the rush also plays a role in that.
Yeah, I mean, like anything, we can do a better job overall, coaching, playing. It's never just one area. It's never just coverage or just rush. It's a shared deal there. So I thought the quarterback extended some plays and made some good throws, and we've got to make more plays on the ball overall as a defense. I think we had one, and it was a defensive lineman in terms of the pass breakup part of things there. So, we've got to do a better job there.
What do you make of the lack of PBUs from just your secondary as a whole through 5 weeks?
Yeah, well, the game is making plays on the ball, and that's kind of the obvious part, and you want to be able to challenge, and in order to do that, you got to be in great position and have your eyes in the right spot and play with great technique, and then when you're one-on-one, and so that's an important part of playing good defensive football.
You're well known for, every week you always say we have things to clean up. Does it hit home more after a loss, to the team, do you think? Does that message get through even more to the team after a loss like that?
You would hope, yeah. I mean, we've done a good job, I would say, overall. You're never perfect of responding when things haven't gone well result-wise. Myself as a coach and us as coaches, and the players do a really good job with this week to week too, even following wins, of being honest with themselves and being truthful in our conversations and objective on things we need to improve on. So that's, no different this week. But, the result that we got and how we were basically playing uphill all night, I think the guys felt that, and that's no way to play a game.
Given that this team has been known for not beating itself for so long, that you did that. How uncharacteristic was that? How, I don't want to say concerning, but just what did you take of the fact that you beat yourself for the first time in a while?
Never good. Don't want to live that life. Like I said, don't want to play that style of game. It's really hard to do that and come out on top. And it's a good reminder for us. If we handle it the right way, it's a good reminder for us of how you really don't want to play and don't want to live that type of life. And why it's important we stay on the details, we stay disciplined, and we stay urgent in our approach, we finish plays, and we take care of the football, make good decisions with the ball in our hands, and all those things are kind of the foundation of what leads to the results.
You were You mentioned after the game wanting to review the film before fully weighing in on the separation from the wide receivers, which you were asked about. Now that you've had an opportunity to do that, how did you view that?
Yeah, there was times where we had some, there was times where we didn't. I thought overall, we want to get more. I mean, it's easier said than done, though. They're playing good defense. They're doing some things. They did some things that they hadn't shown maybe on tape as well, and affected some of the scheme part as well. So again, it's never just one piece. It's all 11 making one play go, and we didn't do enough of that from the start, in particular in the first half. Second half was better if you look at just the results of the second half per series, and then we had the one drive there in the second half where we turned the ball over going in, and you can't do that either. You got points, and so all these little things add up to making the game more difficult than it really needs to be. And so, again, hopefully we can learn from those situations.
Sean, was there a specific reason why Keon Coleman did not play in the first offensive series?
Yeah, discipline. Yeah, head coach discipline.
Something throughout the week?
Yes.
That's not the first time that you've been through that with him. Is that disappointing in the sense that, I don't know what the specific issue is, but is it disappointing that there is an issue that created the need for that?
Yes. Yep.
What have your conversations been like with Keon then, like making sure this doesn't continue going forward?
Well, we expect more, and he has shown growth this year. He has. We're looking for more consistency.
Consistency in like any specific area?
Growth, maturation, that leads to consistency more than anything. And like anything else, you have winning habits, it leads to winning on the field. And so that's really what we're trying to create, and that's what we're here to do, is help young men in this case grow and mature and develop and become professionals, and that's part of the process.
Given how his day began, being disciplined, how do you factor in that fumble, and how do you address that with him, knowing that he's trying to grow and develop?
Well, mistakes happen. I mean, accidents happen. None of us are perfect, including myself, and there's an element of, hey, how can we learn from it and grow? And there's also an element of, hey, are we given, separate of this situation specific to Keon, but we're playing hard. Are we playing hard? Are we playing with the right technique? Are we playing with detail and the proper level of discipline, and everything that leads into looking for the winning results that we look for in terms of how you handle those situations. So you're always trying to teach, always trying to grow. None of us are finished products, and yet at the same time, these guys have to make sure we're taking the urgency in our approach to execute the way we need to execute.
And you've gotten a lot from Matt Milano in his career here in Buffalo. You've been with him the entirety of it. It's 3 years running now, though, that he's not been able to stay healthy. What do you do in a situation like this where it's becoming increasingly more difficult to rely on him to be able to stay on the field?
Yeah, no, that's what it's been from a standpoint of his injuries the last 2 to 3 years, as you mentioned, Jay. And I don't want that for him. Nobody wants that for him, and nobody works harder than Matt Milano to stay healthy. And so, right now it's going to be a next man up for this week, and we'll take it one day, and apparently now 1 week at a time, and just see where it goes.
Sean, is injured reserve a consideration for Matt?
Not what I'm being told at this point. So,
Your film review over the last, 18 hours or so, cornerbacks specifically, both Christian and Tre'Davious, what did you see from them? And then the totality of the season, are you concerned at all at the level of play there between those two guys who've started a lot of games for you?
yeah, they're both good football players. I've seen them play better than they did last night, and you look at it and say, hey, are we winning enough outside one-on-one? And the answer last night was no. So we've got to be able to win those one-on-ones in key situations of the game, and we remain confident in both those guys.
The secondary as a whole, with you guys, it's always been predicated on communication, right? Is that something that you feel like the group of them, Taryn included, the safeties, they're still working through?
I would say to some extent, yes, just because we're still somewhat, it's not new in the season, it's not a young season, but we're now going into what will be Game 6, and some of the communications, we got, Cole being a little bit new back there and things, but, overall, I feel like their communication has been good. It's just more right now, are we making enough plays? Because you got to make plays at the end of the day, make plays on the ball, and then come up and tackle well, and that's all part of it as well.
Out of Cole so far this season?
Yeah, I think what you saw last night was a young player that kind of hit a couple of plays there that he wants back, especially towards the end of the game. Prior to that, I thought he was playing well and had shown signs of improvement. And that's, when you're dealing with a young player, you're going to have some of those games or some moments in games that you want back. And but that is all opportunities for him to learn, and then for us to continue to have him grow and move forward.
The message after the game is you hope your guys are taking improvements out of this and learning from this game. But you've been coaching this league for a while. Is there sometimes a necessity for a team that aspires to do the kind of things you do to go through a game like this as maybe like the reset of like, hey, let's get back to work, let's try to attack this next week? Is that the way you approach it at all? Does that ever show up in the tendencies of how you coach?
I think perspective. I think it starts with perspective is in terms of where we're at, where we're trying to go, how we're trying to grow. Making sure we've got the right outlook on things, and if you use things the right way, they are messages to your team, to you as a coach, to you as an individual, that yes, we can improve, and here's how we need to improve. And that's everywhere. You look at, are we doing the right things practicing wise? Are we doing the right things in meetings? Are we doing the right things, in terms of, do we have the right people out there, right? So you're constantly assessing the team and where the team is and how the team can move forward and making sure it doesn't slide back. And so the short answer is yes. But that's not easy either. You can't just say, hey, it's going to be okay. We've got to make sure that we are managing things the right way and trying to move our team forward in the proper direction.
What Josh has done for this team, and in many ways I'm not questioning it, but it looked like he was pressing at times yesterday, wanting to run a little bit more. Did you see that in him?
I think at times maybe, overall, but Josh is a competitor, right? He wants to win, and so he's going to do what he feels like he needs to do to help his team win. So I'm never going to question his competitiveness, and I think some of it was just that. Other times maybe trying to do a little bit too much, but Josh is Josh for a reason. I mean, as much as he makes those great plays, somewhere in there he's going to show that he is human once in a while, and he wants some of those plays back. I mean, he's as competitive with those plays after they don't go his way as he is with the great plays he's made over the years. And I mean, he's the human eraser. That's what I refer to him as. He makes things go when there's nothing there to be had, and he is who he is for a reason. So he drives the level of play of everyone on our football team.
Had started the first 4 games with a touchdown on each of your opening drives, so slow starts weren't a problem for the offense. Yesterday, however, 2 lost fumbles in the first quarter, 5 accepted penalties against. Anything stand out to you in terms of how that switched so much that you started so slow yesterday?
When you look at it, and you're spot on, really the first half was slow. I thought that the offense did a really good job at halftime, led by Josh, of just resetting, and you have to be able to reset. But ball handling on the jet sweep to Dawson sounds or looks simple, but it's not. And that was the first fumble, and the second fumble, I believe, was Keon's. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, it's what we preach, and as I said to the team after the game, we played the game the way that they wanted us to play the game. And we can't do that. So we've got to get back to reestablishing and really grooving, our fundamentals, our detail, our discipline, those are the things that have made us good for so long, and you cannot get away from those things. The minute you do is the minute it starts looking like that. And that's just not who we are.
You said yesterday that at times it was a little too cute. Was the Dawson Knox play kind of one of those? Where you
Just overall. There's a lot of different ways that could go, and I don't want to single out one play. It's overall just more physical, more urgent. Some of the, you get a couple plays here and there like that. Hey, we're going downhill, and we're going to run through people. And but I don't want to single out a play. It's just, back to basics.
What did Jimmy Ciarlo do to earn a spot on the active?
I mean, Jimmy's approach every week, every day really is he's one of the first ones in, one of the last to leave. His story. It's been documented, I believe. And he's got great energy every day, no matter if he's up for a game or not up for a game, which to me speaks volumes about who he is, his character. Football's important to him, and he's a big-time team player. So I'm happy for him, and he went out and competed his first NFL game. And, I was proud of him because it wasn't too big for him. He went out there and inspired people by his play and his effort, and honestly, those are things you look for.
When you look at, you mentioned needing more from the wide receivers, is it a matter of, is there more play calling, scheming that you can do to help those guys, or is it more, got to win some one-on-one battles too?
Yeah, probably both. Yeah, I mean, there's things we can always do as a coaching staff. I'm going back right now, looking at it again, and I had to take a break to come down here. But just making sure, you put another set of eyes on it one more time, looking at it through a different lens maybe. But yeah, it starts with all of us looking at ourselves and saying, hey, how can I be better, and what do I need to do to grow? And there are one-on-one situations as well, and then, it's like I said, it's not always just one player or one position. So it really starts just with that foundation I mentioned a few minutes ago of just making sure we're disciplined in our approach, we're detailed, we understand where I line up and how that affects the overall outcome of the play.
Dalton Kincaid had a career game last night. What has impressed you about his work ethic this season?
Yeah, again, here's a guy coming out of last season that was questioned a little bit, and his work ethic has, I think, really speaks volumes for who he is, and the results are a result of his hard work. He is highly competitive, driven, wants to be as good as he can be, and I think every catch he makes, you kind of feel that you see the passion that comes out, and I love watching him. It's fun. It's fun to watch him play.
What did Landon Jackson do to earn a jersey yesterday?
Yeah, he's handled being inactive the right way. I think that's, again, where it starts. And then we felt like we needed to get a little bit more physical on first and second down with bringing a bigger body into the mix there. And he had roughly 15 to 20 plays and did some good things in there. So we'll see where that goes this week. Thank you.